Welcome back. Let's continue talking a little more about my love for sweets. So, mom had brought us up pretty strictly, and we only ate what was served to us. Mom said it was stealing if we picked up anything by ourselves to eat. I guess poor Ruby would feel hungry between meals. Since ours was a primarily vegetarian household, the only thing Ruby would find or had access to on the kitchen shelves were lentils, raw lentils, that is dal, Kachchi dal. So she would steal some and put some of that dal in her pocket and have it. One day, I caught Ruby stealing lentils in the kitchen when it was just the two of us at home. I was shocked because I looked up to Ruby as a role model. She was usually so strict with me. When Ruby saw that I had caught her, she decided to bribe me. She pulled out a handful of lentils from her pocket and offered them to me. Since I prided myself for being such a good kid who followed all the rules, I obviously didn't want to break the rules. I quietly took the lentils from Ruby and put them in my pocket. When mom and dad came back home, I pulled out the raw lentils from my pocket proudly as proof and told mom that Ruby had been stealing food. At that time, I genuinely believed that I was doing the right thing. Ruby was surprised that I used her bribe as proof against her. Mom was surprised by the whole thing, and I was super proud that I had been a good little girl. We were so sure that we could not actually ask mom for food that once we sneaked or stole some grapes for a kiddie picnic, and by we I mean Ruby, okay, not me. There was a wooded area near our house, and part of it was used as a nursery by the gardeners. This area had a couple of sewer covers type of structures. Not the round metal sewer lids that we see nowadays. They were thick white blocks of cement with metal rods inside for reinforcement. Four such slabs were placed side by side together at different places in our township to cover manholes. This would form a nice 4 by 4 platform that was about a foot higher than the ground. Since there were no benches or other structures around, people would sometimes sit on these manhole covers. And at other times, we would play on them, skipping about up and down. In the little wood, this manhole cover would get covered in fallen leaves and flowers. So, for our picnic, we first gathered some twigs and fashioned a broom out of them. We swept the platform clean. Then we pulled out our little doll crockery and cutlery and started our picnic. The girl who had joined us for the picnic had asked her mother to prepare pulao for the picnic. And here we were with a few stolen grapes. I think we cut them in half or something also. I wonder now if we had just asked our mom for some picnic snacks, would she have given us some things? I guess she might have, not sure. Sometimes when I would hang out at my neighbor Netra's place, she would go into the kitchen and offer me snacks that her mother had prepared, such as laddus or chaklis. In a conspirational whisper, I would ask her, "Are we stealing snacks?" This surprised Netra, so she spoke to her mom about it. Her mom explained to her that the snacks were there for all family members to eat when they got hungry and that it was not stealing. So the next time Netra offered me the snacks and I again asked if we were stealing, she explained to me that this was not stealing. But the concept that picking anything up to eat on our own was stealing was embedded so deeply in my mind that I could not even process what Netra was saying. In our home, mom would divide special things such as fruits or snacks for us and ensure that everyone got an equal share. Fruits such as mangoes were cut into 5 pieces and each of us got a piece. One person would get the seed part and the other 4 family members would get the 4 quarters of the mango. In my opinion, The pulp surrounding the seed was too little, and I did not like the seed hair getting trapped between my teeth as I ate the mango. I still don't like it when that happens. Luckily for me, I never had to take the seed part because Molly loved the seed part. She wanted the seed part of the mango because that meant being able to suck on the seed for a long time to get some more sweetness out of it, long after the others were done eating their quarter of the mango. Molly loved her little triumphs and delighted in doing such things. During grape season, for instance, Mom would count and divide the grapes amongst us. Molly would sit and peel each grape, waiting for us to finish eating ours. Then, when we were all done, she would triumphantly show us that she still had all her grapes and then start eating them very happily. This sums up Molly's thinking and attitude. One-upping us or others around her meant a lot to her. Whereas Ruby and I would focus on being kind and helpful to those around us, Molly's focus would pretty much remain on showing everyone else how much better she was than them. Also, when Mom was distributing fruits or snacks, we were supposed to wait patiently and not grumble. Once, when Mom had cut the apple and distributed it, I waited patiently. I didn't get my share. When everyone finished eating their share, I timidly asked Mom when I would get my share. Surprised, Mom asked me if I was sure I had not gotten a slice. Turns out, someone got a second slice and ate it quietly. So Mom did not realize that she had missed someone. Reluctantly, Mom asked me to bring another apple so that I could get my share. The fruits were usually counted and divided carefully to last a number of days. So cutting this extra apple meant that she would have to recalculate. Dry fruits and nuts were very special, and Mom kept them under lock and key, doling them out to us once in a while. Once, Mom locked a packet of cashews in her clothes cupboard. What she did not realize was that they would absorb the smell of mothballs, the camphor balls that we used to have when we were growing up. At that time, we did not have all the fancy scented moisture absorbers for our cupboards. We had basic mothballs, which are phenyl balls. They have a distinct smell that is very non-edible. So when Mom decided to serve us the cashews, we could not eat them because of the strong smell of mothballs in them. You can imagine how distressing it was to Mom that her special treat that she had kept hidden away was no longer edible. She tried to persuade us to eat them in spite of the strong phenyl smell. We could not. We literally could not eat them. I don't know what happened to those cashews, but after trying to persuade us to eat them a few times, Mom gave up. During Diwali, a number of people who I assume were vendors for Dad would bring home sweet boxes for us. These boxes contained sweets that we didn't find or see anywhere the rest of the year. With bated breath, we would watch as Mom opened these delightfully decorated boxes in the evening at the designated snack time. They would be lined with this colorful gelatin paper, the yellow transparent paper. Inside, we would find sweets such as son halwa, chocolate, peda, malai peda, barfis of all colors, motichur laddus, and many more. Mom would carefully divide equal parts for us. If there was just one piece of son halwa in one box, Mom would cut it into equal parts. Everyone got an equal part of that, a little piece of the son halwa. Then she would place this array of sweets and sweet pieces and all of these on our snack plates, and we would delightedly enjoy them. Later, when I witnessed my husband chomping entire boxes of sweets or kilos of mangoes all by himself in one go with no regard for anyone else in the house, including his own babies, I realized that my mom's culture, my mom's style of dividing everything equally was not as common or widespread as I had thought initially. So I analyzed what made Mom so particular about dividing treats equally. I attribute it to one incident that she narrates. Growing up, mom's family ate basic meals and not too many treats. I believe mom's mother made it a point to divide any treats equally when they did get access to them. So once some visitor had brought Mathura Pedhas to their house. My mom had never seen or tasted pedhas at this point. When mom got back from school that day, her mom called her to her side. Excitedly, her mom whispered that someone had brought Mathura ji ke pede for them and a couple were kept away from mom in the jali. Now, in those days with no fridges, a little wooden cupboard called a jali cupboard was used to keep food such as dahi and such stuff safe from insects such as houseflies. Feeling very thrilled, mom went running to the jali but found nothing there. They later figured out that one of the sisters had gobbled up mom's share of the pedhas, not being able to resist the lure of such a delicious treat. This Masi was known as the glutton of the family, and she was the obese one. Till date, she is called Moti Masi. You can imagine how crestfallen mom was, anticipating a treat and then finding none. It was years before mom had access to pedas again. Such incidents tend to have a deep impact on human behavior. May not seem logical, but it's true. Some pivotal incidents shape our behavior. And so I believe mom became obsessive about dividing or hiding food. This is not just prevalent in mom's behavior. I have observed this with her sisters also, not Moti Masi though. When we would go to Punjab for vacations, Jeet Masi would make khoa and Panjeeri specially for us kids. But again, we were not supposed to take it on our own. We would have it when it was served to us. I, being the good little girl, would follow that rule. But Molly would sneak into the storage room and keep having Panjeeri throughout the day. Her co-conspirator in this was Jeet Masi's daughter. Molly's thinly veiled code for when she wanted to go into the storage room to steal more Panjeeri was to say to her cousin, "Let's go see Panj Tatiri." A tatiri in Punjabi is a kind of bird. So even though the statement made it very clear to me what the intention was, I could not attribute such behavior to my little sister and dismissed the thought. I thought, no, how can Molly be going and taking Panjeeri? Maybe she is actually going to see some birds. But then the girls themselves could not contain their secret and they laughingly admitted to stealing Panjeeri with the Panj Tatiri signal. So basically, I realized that those who grabbed something, remember Sujata Rani and the glucose biscuit. So much like Sujata, those who grabbed things got rewarded because they got to have the thing. This was my first inkling into the workings of the real world. Of course, it would be decades before this actually sank in as a lesson. I still held on to being the good little girl who was obedient. For me, it was not about being rewarded, but about being good and winning the approval of my parents. Another time, there was a wedding in the village house. My Masi's daughter was getting married. My mom was sitting with her sister, the mother of the bride, and I did not realize that they were debating about something. Turns out, my mom was about to ask me to go into the storage room to fetch some sweets that they needed. But Masi, the mother of the bride, did not want to send me inside in case I stole some sweets. This offended mom, so then mom said she would not send me into the room. And then Masi started insisting that I should go into the room and fetch the sweets. And looking at the two of them confused, then I just went into the room and got the sweets. So that is the thing. That entire extended family had this concept of stealing sweets and they didn't think that anything you just picked up and ate was okay. So I had never been a kid that stole food, meaning I ate only what was given to me till that point. But that changed later at one time. I'll tell you about that in the next episode. Till then, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'll see you soon with another episode. Bye for now.